are just a few short moments away removed from Money in the Bank, and we're going to give you our thoughts and our feelings about said pay-per-view in a condensed review form.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to Sheamus and Apollo Crews, which was announced as the pre-show, we had the two last-minute tag team matches on the pre-show. We opened with Breezango versus the Golden Truth. The Golden Truth causing Breezango to over-tan and start to peel, which was their
got sunburned.
Which was their main focus throughout the match. Lots of chops. What?
Booth burnt? You're not really sunburnt, but it's like
it's
UV bulb burnt.
Bulb burnt. There we go.
Bulb burnt.
So yeah, that was their focal point through most of the matches. Chops and how many different ways could they hurt Breezango by?
Yeah, just how many different techniques they could use to touch sunburns.
Yeah, Goldust was in the ring with both members of Breezango, ducked a double clothesline. R-Truth pulled Tyler Breeze out, allowing Goldust to hit the final cut on Fandango, and Golden Truth finally pick up their first tag team win.
Yeah, Goldust got so excited he started jumping up and down with the referee.
Yeah, Mike Chioda couldn't help but laugh as he started jumping around.
Well, Goldust jumping around like that's kind of goofy.
It is a little bit. They made the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys. This is a very random match to start having.
It's legitimately, hey, don't forget we have other tag teams.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
that's what this pre-show was about. Was like, look, we have other tag teams.
Here's the 4 that are going to be on the show, but here's 4 more that aren't there yet. Yeah. So okay, so maybe
it's just fuck the Usos and the Shining Stars.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna put all the other tag teams on the pay-per-view.
We couldn't put the Ascension on it because Connor's still out.
Oh, they definitely would have been on. If Connor was on, they would have also pre-showed the Ascension versus the Shining Stars.
Probably. Kalisto avoids the 3D, is able to low bridge and take Devon out. Bubba then gets hit with a Selena del Sol that Sin Cara gets a blind tag off of. Sin Cara hits the Swanton, and the Lucha Dragons defeat the Dudley Boys.
Which Sin Cara has renamed it the Dragon Bomb.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear them say that.
To fit with the Lucha Dragon.
That's okay.
Team.
The Dragon Bomb. Okay, that's cool. I dig it. Well, let's keep with the tag team theme. Moving on to the main card
Open it with the tag team championships.
What he just sang.
Hey.
The 4 corners tag team match. First team to score a pinfall becomes the tag team champions. The club, the Vaudevillains, Enzo and Cass looking to take out the New Day. Finally, the New Day at 301 days. They are 33 days away from tying and then potentially breaking the record by Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions.
This was a match I was really excited for, but I felt like they were waiting for each other a lot in this match.
Yeah, I went back and I rewatched it earlier.
Yeah.
And what it came down to me was that we got a glimpse of watching 2 rookie tag teams trying to hold their own with 2 more experienced tag teams.
That's true.
And I noticed almost every single faltering point of the match had to do with either Enzo or Cass or the Vaudevillains.
Really?
Yes, and like almost all the different cues that were maybe a bit too long had to do with one of those 4 guys not breaking up a pin or getting in not getting in the ring fast enough during tag session.
I guess I'd have to go back. I didn't really notice it was just them, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me just because the club's been doing it forever over in Japan. The New Day have been they're 2-time tag team champions, so they've been around the block a few times as a team.
And you know something, the pay-per-view scenario is still new to the Vaudevillains and Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, because
they've done it before, but I mean this is the second one for Enzo and Cass and only the third one for the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a lot of inexperience, and not to mention, I'm pretty sure for both of those teams, this is the first ever 4 corners team match that they've been in.
Yeah. Still a lot of good stuff in this match. The match wasn't bad. There was just a few moments where you kind of knew, they were waiting for something to happen, so the next thing could happen.
The only one in the match that really deterred me from saying that it was awesome was the end. because the end had a great series of everybody hitting a move that was a match ender and having every one of those be a big false finish. And
especially with the club hitting the magic killer.
Yeah, but then like E comes in to save Kofi and grabs Anderson out of the pin and picks him up onto the shoulder. And then you had Gallows get in the ring and pause for about 5 seconds, which was awkward.
He was waiting for Cass to come in and boot him over the ropes.
Yeah, I did not expect Cass to fly over the top rope.
Yeah, no, he booted so hard that he sent himself over the top rope, which was insane. And so
but it also gave the New Day the opportunity to hit the big end.
Kofi tags E. They hit the midnight hour, and the New Day remain tag team champions.
Yeah.
So good win, good match. Just need a little.
Woo! I got that one right.
Yeah. We had a fun pre-Money in the Bank promo with Owens, Del Rio, and Jericho
The heel
all
side.
bantering at each other.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like these guys could do a segment on Raw just like insulting each other.
And it would be hilarious.
Because Owens and Jericho and Del Rio all excel at insulting.
Yes. And they all have those little things that they can pick on each other too.
Yeah.
So. We had Baron Corbin defeat Dolph Ziggler. Let's let this be the end. This match got a boring chant.
Twice.
Twice? Really? I only heard one.
Yeah.
I'm half deaf, so I can't hear all that great. What? Man.
It was just the crowd wasn't super behind this feud to begin with. And now that we're running this on like the third pay-per-view or whatever, second or third pay-per-view it's been a part of.
This is the third.
Dead. The crowd doesn't care.
Yeah. But it didn't need to happen. Ziggler got knocked off the top rope, hit with the end of days. Then we moved on to the women's tag team match. This one was actually better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Dana did really well. Becky was straight fire, as she likes to call herself. Yeah. Her and Natty had a tag team name, Heart and Fire, which is a cool little mashup. I think all the girls went out there and did what they needed to do in this match. Mm-hmm. Dana and Charlotte worked together really well. And ultimately Dana was actually the reason for the win.
Yeah.
Because Natty had Charlotte in the sharpshooter. She was on the. You got to think she was on the verge of tapping out. Dana comes in and grabs Natty's hair. Becky comes in and does the same thing to Dana. And as Dana lets go of Natty, she grabs Becky and throws her face first into Natty. So they knock heads real hard. Natty goes down. Becky goes down. Dana takes care of her. Allows Charlotte to hit the natural selection, because when Natty hit, she went down to her knees. Charlotte hits natural selection, and the women heels take the win. But then the biggest story coming out of this,
this was the most interesting part of the whole
is
segment.
Natty breaks down. She's upset. She keeps losing to Charlotte. Becky's trying to console her.
This is the third pay-per-view in a row that Natty has lost to Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's just all this frustration has come up with her. And she takes it out on Becky Lynch. She straight up attacks Becky Lynch, and Becky did such a good job of selling this.
Yeah.
She was so distraught, because she did a post-match interview that I watched on YouTube earlier today, where she couldn't even form sentences without starting to cry. The only thing she could keep saying was, "I've known her for 10 years."
Yeah.
And that's all she could get out. She was so upset.
It was a good, during the pay-per-view itself, it was a good visualization of somebody who was both hurt physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Where I don't feel that there are a ton of wrestlers who can portray that visually, so you can see it on camera all that well, without actually saying anything, because, during that bit at the end of the match, Becky didn't say anything. She just pulled herself up really slow in the corner. Yeah.
So, that'll be an interesting thing to watch develop on Raw, and what the next potential storyline for Charlotte is as far as the Women's Championship.
Paige, please.
Sasha.
Paige is going to be too.
Then we had your favorite match where Apollo Crews, maybe your second
favorite.
Apollo Crews defeating Sheamus. Sheamus did hit a second rope Celtic cross, aka white noise.
Which, by the way the WWE finishers work, I thought that was going to be the end.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like, if one finisher is not good enough, then taking your finisher up the ropes is usually the end-all, be-all. And it didn't work.
No, it was Sheamus' fault because he did a lacking cover where he just kind of like leaned back onto Apollo and lifted one leg. So Apollo didn't have any weight on his shoulders. Sheamus is freaking out. He's like, "What? How is that not 3?" And in that moment of him freaking out, Apollo's able to roll him into a crucifix pin, and Apollo gets the win. And so you get crazy, I can't believe that just happened, Sheamus face, and happy-go-lucky Apollo Crews face.
Which goes to prove you that Apollo Crews is better than Bobby Lashley. Because when Bobby Lashley and John Cena had a match, Cena hitting the AA off the second rope beat Bobby Lashley.
Speaking of John Cena, our next match would be John Cena versus AJ Styles. This was awesome.
It was a great match. It's unusual to watch Cena. I mean, it's not unusual to watch Cena play babyface.
Yeah.
Which is, you spend 75% of the match getting beat up.
Yeah.
It's not often you see Cena getting so thoroughly beat up by someone so much smaller than him.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is they started off, they were very even. It was a lot of back and forth. They did a lot of, John Cena leapfrogging, and then, AJ leapfrogging him, and a lot of back and forth stuff that was really good, and it was like, okay, who's going to get the first, definitive moment here? And then John Cena started to slow down. And that was the interesting part, is that AJ kept just rapid-fire moves, and he's just, poking fun at Cena the whole time. He's like, is this all he's got? Like AJ played such a fantastic heel to match against John Cena's just over-the-top babyface. And Cena did such a good job of slowing himself down and not, portraying the fact that he couldn't keep up, even though him and AJ are pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
AJ, they just did such a good job of making it seem like AJ was younger, fresher, and was able to just keep going more than Cena was.
Yeah, and again, another thing that you have to take in the light with the way they portrayed this match is that Cena has had more career-altering injuries than AJ Styles.
It's true. I think his lower back, the thing that he's dealing with now, is probably the worst thing that he's...
And Cena's just coming back.
True.
From having surgery.
Awesome. Yeah, I that didn't even click.
So
we talked about the fact that it was his first match back, and I didn't even think about that.
So we're not only getting Styles, who's smaller and previously working the indies, so used to going at a faster rate for a longer period of time, but you're also getting Cena, who's just coming off of a serious injury, who's had 6 months, 5 months off of ring time.
Yeah.
So you're getting that Cena's getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
To compensate for the fact that he's so much bigger.
Yeah. And then to add to it, they kept kicking out of each other's stuff. Cena kicked out of the Styles Clash. AJ kicked out of the AA. They both escaped each other's submissions. The Styles Crash couldn't keep Cena down. There was just all these different things that kept happening, and there were so many good near falls. And then there's that very last moment where they literally tried to hit every single one of their signatures and finishers in a row, countering them. Cena finally gets a desperation AA that knocks out the referee.
Yeah.
Hits the AA, goes down for the pin, the crowd's counting, the commentators are counting. It's just, what the hell? The ref is down. Cena goes to try and wake the ref up. This is the cue for Anderson and Gallows to run down, hit the Magic Killer on John Cena, roll AJ over in time for the referee to wake up, count the 3, and AJ Styles defeats John Cena.
Yeah.
I myself, I liked the ending. I think, especially we know that this is not going to be the last time they face each other. So I appreciate the fact that they're leaving room for an even bigger, more epic end. Could it have been a little better? Yes. But I like the way that this end happened.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't have an issue with this end, but one of the things that I started to think back to last night, even after I finished watching the pay-per-view and left from here, was that Styles did something that Cena was trying to get him to avoid doing, which he was saying specifically that having the interference by the club is going to bury AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes it look like AJ Styles can't win.
But I think that's a good addition if you're trying to get over his heel. Granted, it's going to be difficult for people to turn on AJ just because he is AJ Styles. But I think that was a good way to say, okay, I'm playing heel. How do I make the fans dislike me? I make this statement that I'm not going to let this happen, and then I let it happen.
Yeah.
Just going back on your word, for me it's a good heel moment. We'll see what the direction is now. I'm sure their next big match, maybe at Battleground. I would hope that they push it for another big one-on-one at SummerSlam. We're gonna knock this one right out of the way because the other two matches kind of go hand in hand. Rusev defeated Titus O'Neil. That was your favorite match of the night.
Machka!
He wants to march around saying Machka just because.
I'm not going to though.
No. Titus even he tapped out on Father's Day in front of his children.
Yeah.
Then
Rusev cut a promo right in front of the kids too.
You see that guy?
Their dad was a loser.
Oh, and there's this tweet from Rusev. What did he say? It's up on the screen now. He says, "Give this guy like loser of the year because he tapped out for it's a horrible, amazing tweet from Rusev."
Rusev is my new favorite wrestler.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the two other big matches other than Cena Styles. First off, 6-man, Money in the Bank. Everyone vying for that contract. Dean Ambrose, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
To say that everybody got their shit in would be an understatement. There are... I want to go online because I haven't checked to see what the casualty report is based off of this pay-per-view. Because we know that Jericho had a really scary moment with his knee buckling.
Del Rio did a double stomp.
Yeah, he double stomped off the ladder onto Jericho's back, and Jericho's leg just buckled out from under him.
Well, and Alberto came down on his knee.
Yeah, and it's just that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, Del Rio's not a small man.
And then, Del Rio himself had to be carried from the arena
him and Cesaro,
by the referees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Del Rio, they both, at the end of the match, they both got pushed off of a ladder together. Cesaro got crotched on the top rope.
Which I'm sure that's what Del Rio was going for also.
Del Rio just ended up being a mangled mess, hitting the ropes and the ladder out of the ring.
He landed both feet on the top rope, which I'm sure he was supposed to turn and crotch himself, but then he ends up just falling down between the ropes and the ladder, and just it was bad. Yeah. That was probably the scariest moment of the entire match.
Yeah. Big heap of Del Rio outside the ring.
An interesting this ladder situation that they had with
they built a scaffold. Basically.
The one in the middle, and then they had a ladder on each side connecting to the turnbuckles, which allowed for 2 little bridges, and at one point we had all 6 guys up on this, and then eventually a second ladder comes in, and that's what Cesaro and Del Rio fall off of. But so then we have the other 4 guys on this contraption here, and here I've got it written down here. Let me run through my notes here. So after Cesaro and Del Rio almost die. Jericho gets the elevated dirty deeds, which takes him out. Zayn gets the powerbomb on the ladder. And so then we're down to Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens fighting it out, seeing who can reach the top of the ladder first. And Ambrose goes to, the best thing he knows is just grab Kevin Owens by the shirt and slam him face first into the other side of the ladder. Eventually, that causes Kevin Owens to fall backwards. That ladder actually unhinges itself from the rung that it's on. So Owens hits it and then ends up like hitting it again, and Dean Ambrose is able to climb to the top and become the Money in the Bank contract holder. Crowd's going nuts, and you got to think that puts a lot of interest in the main event, which is the other two members of the Shield facing off for the championship. Seth Rollins looking to take back the title he never lost. Roman Reigns looking to prove that he is the guy. This was interesting because Roman Reigns played heel.
Yeah, it was very... And I think they knew it had to be done this way, because no matter how much... Rollins can go out and kind of promo all he wants.
Yeah.
And get as much heat as he wants. But when Roman Reigns gets in the ring with him, I don't think there's a force of nature on earth short of Seth Rollins decapitating a child on television that would make the crowd turn on him in favor of Roman Reigns. Because
True.
Roman Reigns is just so... at best, it's like 25% Roman Reigns to 75% whoever he's going against in the crowd.
Yeah, and as soon as Rollins' music stopped, the boos immediately started happening.
Yeah.
And then it continued through Roman's entire entrance. It was very, very anti-Reigns in Las Vegas last night.
Yeah, and they played a lot of similarities to the Cena Styles match, where you had, again, Rollins, who's coming back after, even longer than Cena's been gone.
Yeah.
So you had a few times where Rollins was a bit tentative before going for high-risk moves. Sort of maybe self-doubting whether or not his knee could stand up to the pressure.
Which it did. That actually scared me a lot. A lot of the stuff he did, I was like, I was just hoping that his knee didn't buckle again.
And then you had Roman Reigns doing something that he really hasn't done since the Shield has been a thing, is he really played like an unstoppable juggernaut type character, where Rollins would get his little short bursts of offense, but at best all he would do was like daze Roman Reigns a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Roman would cut him off again.
Yeah, Roman did a really good job of just shutting Rollins down. And that was his game plan, was just to overpower Rollins, because he knows that he's stronger than Rollins.
Yeah. And it went to the time Rollins finally gets the advantage on Roman Reigns is he strings together a series of headshots, basically, where he pulls Roman Reigns face first into the second turnbuckle, then he hits his enziguri, and he's adding all this stuff together because every time he stumbles Roman, it's a headshot.
Yeah.
And so he goes to this and just hits a series of headshots over and over again, and then the match evolves into where we went with Cena Styles, where it was Finisher Fest.
Yeah.
And
It was how many times can you try and go for your finisher?
Rollins is great at selling the Superman punch, by the way.
Yes, twice. He had fantastic spells for that move.
But I'm going to say the best one out of all was the end.
Yeah.
The spear being caught mid-air into a makeshift pedigree. It wasn't like a full-on...
Yeah, no, he didn't like hook the arms.
Good
but
double hook.
He put the knees above the shoulders. They both came down. Slow-mo. It doesn't look as good in regular speed, but you slow it down, and they did a damn good job of doing the best pedigree out of a spear they possibly could.
Yeah.
Without actually stopping.
I want to say, Triple H, how come you didn't do this while you were feuding with Goldberg?
Oh. That allows
I would hop
Rollins.
for that.
That allows Rollins to actually pick up Roman Reigns, hit a second pedigree because Roman kicks out of the spear pedigree.
Yeah.
So Rollins picks him up, hits a second pedigree. Rollins reclaims the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, celebrates just for a moment until Mr. Money in the Bank, Dean Ambrose, attacks him from behind, cashes in, and a dazed Seth Rollins gets hit with dirty deeds, and Dean Ambrose is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
So all within the time span of a half hour, all three members of the Shield have been WWE Champion.
Yep.
In the same half hour.
Roman walked in, Seth got to celebrate, and Dean walked out. So, how else are you going to set up a triple threat between the members of the Shield? It really couldn't be better than this.
No.
Unless
this happened just before WrestleMania, and then it would have been a WrestleMania main event.
Can you imagine if they would have left Money in the Bank at WrestleMania? You have Dean Ambrose win at WrestleMania and then leave WrestleMania as the champion? That's the only way it could have been better. So, that is it for our Money in the Bank review. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought about Money in the Bank. What was your favorite match? What was your least favorite match? Are you excited that Rusev defeated Titus O'Neil on Father's Day?
I know you are.
Kevin Hawk is. We got lots more videos coming this week. We'll have coming up next our Raw review, which we're actually just getting ready.
We're moments away from watching the Monday Night Raw to see the fallout of Money in the Bank.
Yes. And then we'll have all of our usual reviews. I believe this is the last week of Lucha Underground before we hit the 3-week Ultima Lucha, so look forward to the midweek wrap-up. We'll have more fallout from Money in the Bank on SmackDown, and then we've got a chock-full results on the Indie News. 5 Shimmer shows.
And 1
5.
Beyond Wrestling.
Lots to talk about.
1 Ring of Honor.
1 ring to rule them all. Be sure to click all the links down in the description so you get updates to videos, all of our pictures, all of our social medias, all of that stuff.
Contact us, because we like to talk to you.
We do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Yeah.
Should we celebrate Rusev again?
Machka, 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 Machka.
Fuck Titus O'Neil.
Machka, 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 Machka.